I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Hello, collectors, and welcome to the Discount Action Figure Dude. I am your host, Christopher. Now, you're probably curious, I'm sure you saw a thumbnail and saw a picture of Static Shock, and you're probably wondering, why are there G.I. Joe classifieds here? How could this possibly relate to Static Shock? It's two different lines, two different companies. It's just exactly what is happening here. Discount Action Figure Dude. What's happening here, Chris? Well, quite simply, I was setting up to do some G.I. Joe classified rundowns, and I realized I have to do the Static Shock video that I've been putting off for a while. And normally, I would have characters that have a relationship to said character. For instance, I don't know if you know, but Static Shock, of course, is originally a character from Milestone Comics, formed by the late, great Dwayne McDuffie and Dennis Cowan, good friend of mine, Arvell Jones. I am 1 degree removed from those gentlemen because I am a good friend of Arvell Jones. Google the name, Arvell Jones. Very important man in comics, in the history of comics. With Static Shock being a member, one of the characters in Milestone Comics, I'd always hope that next to him, I'd have an icon. And then next to icon, I'd have a rocket. And then next to rocket, I'd have a hardware. And then completely out of the blue, next to hardware, because it's an obscure character I absolutely love, we'd have a Buck Wild. It would be a great lineup. But alas, I have no icon, I have no rocket, I have no hardware, but I have a Static Shock. Interesting enough about this Static Shock figure. I am not a pre-order guy, mainly because I'm just not in the habit, even for things that I really want. I don't suffer from fear of missing out, and I just giving money for things that, I don't know when I'm going to get it makes me uncomfortable. But this guy, when he got released, he was on pre-order at Amazon.com, on pre-order now, for half price. Meaning he cost $9 and change before he was ready to be released on Amazon. I even checked the date, because I've had this figure for a year and a half in this box. July 22nd, 2022. So when he arrived, it was probably on my birthday, so that's when my birthday is, in case one of you, for whatever reasons, because I bring you joy, want to send me a Christmas gift, birthday gift, want to send me a birthday gift. Yeah, he was on pre-order for half price. That seems odd to me. So I bought him on pre-order for $9 and change, because I've never seen that before. Why would a figure go on pre-order already on discount? They have that little faith in this guy. Well, here goes Static Shock, and here goes some cool artwork of this figure, which, doesn't look anything like this figure. But it's all good. Let's just say we cut this bitch open. And here goes Static Shock, who I used to know as Static, out of the box. Looking interesting, mainly because this is a version of the character that I am completely unfamiliar with. This is a look that's completely new to me. Surrounded by all of his accessories, which, isn't bad for a McFarlane figure. He has a couple of effects. He has one of those glider octagons that he uses, and of course his McFarlane stand, and of course my favorite part, a McFarlane trading card, which we always take care of and catalog properly. But let's say we take a closer look at Static Shock. And here goes Static Shock, rocking his effects and his little hoverboard thing. I figure for this thing to be effective, you know, he would have to be elevated a little bit, maybe even at an angle, but that's going to be tough because if you put it at an angle, it's going to slide off. Plus, it would have helped if the manufacturers had made the peg hole in his foot where it actually fit in that little thing, you know, without, you know, a person having to dremel out a little bit more hole in their action figure to make it work. But let's say we take just a bit of a closer look here at Static Shock. As I said, I am a bit unfamiliar with this look for Static Shock. I will say there are a couple of things that are quite pronounced about this particular figure. A would be his Mozart cloak that he is wearing. I mean, he looks like he is ready to perform the Fifth or some kind of symphony with this thing. Another thing which is very prominent is that his McFarlane diaper is a bit larger than usual, and he's wearing a maxi pad. I mean, I get it, you know. You want to stay fresh and clean. Outcast told me this much. But he might be overdoing it with the diaper and the maxi pad. Otherwise, his colors are pretty good. You know, I know that McFarlane gets criticized a lot for a lot of reuse on their figures. I, you know, am not familiar enough with their body types to know what's being reused from what figure. I mean, it's pretty easy to tell with Marvel Legends figures, but for McFarlane figures, I get a little bit more confused. But I know some of this stuff has to be new. I know these knee pads are probably fresh, and I'm sure the Mozart cloak is something that wasn't used before. But the colors do look good. I think his face sculpt, for what that's worth, and is okay. The hair, again, this is not a hairdo or a style that I am familiar with. For Static Shock, I don't even know. Again, it's kind of 17th century powder wiggish painted brown. I think, you know, it looks like something, a style that the late great actor Clarence Williams III would wear. But yeah, I mean, the colors do look good, and I'm sure if we were to take a look at his articulation, it would be pretty typical for a McFarlane figure. I'm sure that his Mozart cloak might be a little bit of a hindrance. But, you know, we got our double-jointed knees, we got our double-jointed elbows, we got a decent-looking ab crunch, we can decent-looking ab crunch back there. You know, his head has somewhat movement down and a little movement back. You know, he can do some things that you might expect from your Static Shock. It's not a bad looking figure. So what kind of value do we assign old Static Shock? I mean, you know, we will say that his oversized diaper and the maxi pad is a bit of a drawback. Yes, he is no version of the figure that I'm familiar with, but he does look, he's a good looking figure, and as I said before, I got him on half price pre-order, which I don't even think is a thing, but there it goes. And with that in mind, we will say that this version of Static Shock is a decent value.
Yeah, come on, baby.